Do you own a PayPal account? Well, you're not going to like this story if you've been following what PayPal has been doing to people. So over on Reddit, PayPal shut down someone's account because they didn't like where he was spending his money. And they wouldn't let him withdraw it for 6 months. And this person writes, this is why crypto is necessary. So his primary use of the payment system was to run Tor nodes, which would route internet traffic in order to safeguard privacy and avoid country-level censorship. Now this guy's PayPal account has been shut down, which opens up many questions and showing how this like financial censorship can hurt the cause of the internet freedom around the world. And so many people chiming in here saying, well, this is great news. Now PayPal can also lock up my crypto and my fiat. And people saying, PayPal, this company isn't your pal. PayPal is rebranding to Hold Enemy. Philip's on here as well with me, producer Philip. Like, you've had this happen to you. I've had this happen to me. What happened to you with PayPal?
Yeah, so back when I had first started editing, I had taken on a job doing some audiobooks. And so I think it was the fourth one I did in a row. The author had paid me like he had using PayPal for a pretty similar amount of money to what he had paid before, but PayPal flagged it as suspicious and locked me out of that money for a month. And I mean, that really hurt me at the time because I mean, it was basically rent and I couldn't access it. So I was hurting.
Right.
And so in kind of like fighting that, eventually something happened where they actually locked me out of my account entirely. And so after like that whole thing, I haven't been able to use PayPal since, and I just never bothered to set up a new one.
So you never got it back?
No, I did. I did get that money after the month, and then something happened after that, and then they just completely locked me out.
Yeah, I mean, this has happened to so many people. This has happened to me, where someone paid me for an eBay transaction or something, and they made it held for like 6 months. I couldn't get access to it, and it was at a time when I had no money at all, and so I was definitely needing that money. And it was like taunting me. I would look at this every day, and I couldn't get access to it. I would call them. They wouldn't respond. I've had friends deal with this. David, our producer, also had this happen with PayPal. I think with one of his clients, he got paid, and it was held suspiciously, and he couldn't get access to it. And this Reddit post making the point that this is why crypto is necessary. This idea of these major companies that can control our lives. So these major banks. And I see people in here saying, hey, I buy crypto with PayPal, which I would never suggest you're buying crypto with PayPal, or any of those types of accounts. Like, this is why we need to have, you have to use one of these smarter exchanges and make sure you have access to your own digital wallet so these companies can't get access to it. But this is one of the top trending topics right now on Reddit. PayPal shutting down someone's account because they didn't like what he was spending his money on. I mean, that's the bigger question here. Like, what do they get to say what I'm spending my money on? If he wants to run Tor servers and that's how he's making his money and he's spending his money out of his PayPal account to buy it, I'm sure it's all in their terms of service, right? You can't use PayPal to buy cannabis. You can't use PayPal to buy crypto. Only are approved crypto coins inside of PayPal. You can't use your PayPal account, your money, by the way, your money to buy, to run a server, a Tor server. I had an account that I was using for a while, and because I was transferring money to one of my crypto exchanges, without warning, I just got an email saying your account is being closed. You have 5 days to take your money out of this account. What? Because they didn't like how I was spending my money. That account was Chime, by the way, and an account that I was a really big fan of. I thought it was super easy to use, and I liked it seemed like nice customer service. I liked their interface, and then they just emailed and said, we're closing your account down. We don't like how you're spending your money. So these big companies, these big banks, these institutions like this can just make a decision watching what I'm paying for. Who's to say, well, maybe you're donating money to a certain political campaign. They don't like how you're spending your money, so they shut you down. They don't like that you're doing advertising on Facebook, so they're going to shut you down. They'd rather have you doing advertising on Google where they're a partner. I mean, this is the kind of control that these institutions have over people. It's incredibly troubling. I mean, this is why we hear from, Ron Paul, who's speaking about, wanting to give access in Bitcoin to people, let the people decide, so that the people's currency gives people power and not these big institutions. Any final thoughts on this, Philip? Because I haven't read through all the comments here, but it seems like,
Yeah, I wonder if it, like, how much this has to do with like a company like PayPal being put in a position of trying to have to police their customers because, like, regulators are breathing down their necks, and so since they're not really equipped to handle that, they're put in a position where they have to act as though they're the police, and so they just kind of like
yeah.
overreact, and that overreaction looks like just locking down anything that they think might be suspicious.
I mean, I don't know how that could be the case. I mean, if I use US dollars to commit a crime, someone can't sue the US government because I used US dollars, And, someone's saying, as I see, people are saying, yeah, they've locked accounts for even stupider stuff than this for decades at this point. I mean, they've been doing this, even like the original Minecraft creators had funds frozen and no way to recover it when they were starting with Minecraft. And there were similar Bitcoin threads that almost the same title, like people were buying Bitcoin with their PayPal account, or they were transferring money into Coinbase or other places like that, and PayPal shut down their account. Oh, but now it's okay because now they can make money off of you buying Bitcoin with PayPal or whatever. Now it's okay. Well, in this morning we also got the news on eBay, and maybe this is like a sign that eBay is moving away. Maybe they're just not happy with PayPal, but eBay is now moving away from PayPal. They're under their new terms of use. They're basically saying users have to go. You can't use PayPal. They've updated their terms of use with the new rules, meaning that sellers will be paid directly by the company instead of through PayPal. And this move is effective immediately. For many account holders, that means eBay buyers can still make purchases using PayPal, but sellers will bypass the online payments company and get funds paid directly to their bank accounts. One of the issues is that, at least eBay says that they're trying to do this to avoid people having to pay fees to PayPal, trying to save them money. I don't know. What do you think it is? Let me know in the comments what's going on with PayPal. Are you happy with PayPal? Do you use a PayPal account? Or are you going to shut your PayPal account down in protest? Let me know in the comments. We'll see you next time, everyone.